It was my birthday last week, which means there's only one thing to do, and that is a birthday book haul. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing amazing. So last week it was actually my birthday, and I know that we have this whole TBR stack attack trying to not buy new books, blah blah blah. I feel like on your birthday that can be dismissed, and I dismissed it. I have recently acquired 17 new books, and therefore I want to show you what I have got. Before we get stuck in, I would just like to say, if you do find yourself enjoying this video, it would mean so much to me if you could like and subscribe. I would love to have you. I'd love to talk all things books with you. And also, if you have read any of the books that I've picked up, I would love to know your thoughts. But on that note, let's crack on and let me show you the books I have bought for my birthday. So in the intro, I did actually say that I bought 17 books. And while yes, that is true, I actually received 18 because a lovely book talk bestie who I absolutely adore got me Warrior, Princess, Assassin by Bridget Kemmerer. I hope I'm saying that right. And my God, I absolutely gasped when I received this in the post. I did actually also get Lindt chocolate, and they went down such a treat while we were moving. So Eden, I don't think you're watching this, but thank you so much. I appreciate you. So with this one, I don't actually know too much about it, but I have heard the most glowing reviews of it over on TikTok. So I wanted to read it. And also, I love a white cover. Like, just look how gorgeous this is. And not only that, let me show you the inside and the naked cover. So these end papers are absolutely stunning. But not only that, look at this gorgeous naked cover. And to make things even better, we have a map. Do you know what? I don't know if this is actually a series or if this is a standalone. So I will have to double check that. But I'm so excited to read this. Like I said, I've heard amazing reviews and I really want to read more romantasy/fantasy. I feel like when I do actually read a fantasy, I fall in love with it and I can't get enough. But for some odd reason, I don't pick them up just willy-nilly, or they don't really go onto my monthly TBRs or get round to them. But excited for this one, and yeah, can't wait to delve in. So for the books that I purchased myself, I actually went to 4 different vendors. I went to Asda, my trusty Asda. Asda are just smashing it lately for books. I then went to The Works, I then went to Waterstones, and then I actually done an Amazon order. So I had no control my birthday week, and do you know what? I'm not even sorry. So the first ones I bought in Asda were actually on 2 for the £9 deal. Now, when I walked into Asda, I knew straight away what I was gunning for, and that is The Names by Florence Knapp. So I have only heard raving reviews, and I need to know what it's all about. I watch JessKinoReads on both YouTube and TikTok, and she's primarily kind of like a fantasy, romantasy girly, dark romance too. And she recently read The Names and she absolutely raved about it. So not only did her review send me running to buy this straight away, but a magnitude of people have said that this book is incredible. I believe it is like a literary fiction as well, which is right up my street. And I cannot wait. I believe the premise is about what if you had a different name and how your life may be different. Highly believe this is going to be a 5-star read. Like, this is a 5-star prediction for me for sure. I feel like I need to get to this one soon. Although I say that about every single book I buy and I never get to them soon. So whenever I say that, take that with a pinch of salt. So because The Names was on that 2 for £9 deal, I don't actually remember the price for it, but I had to obviously get another one. It's silly not to buy another book when you're getting a deal. So I purchased And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. I have not read First Time Caller. I know I shouldn't be buying this if I've not read the first book in the series, because I might not like it and therefore I might not like this. But it was on a deal, so I just bought it. And you know what? I do really have high hopes. This isn't the sprayed edge versions, but I actually wanted that because my First Time Caller isn't a sprayed edge version and I did want them to match. And I know I'm going a little bit overboard on book buying, but I don't find it necessary to have multiple books of the same title, unless, caveat here, to kind of save me later on in the video, it is your favourite book. But anyway, that is the 2 paperbacks I bought in Asda. If you watched my last haul, you will remember me saying don't sleep on Asda for hardbacks because they are so cheap. I have purchased 2 hardbacks in Asda and both were £9.98. Now I went into Waterstones literally a couple of days ago, saw both of these books at their full retail price. Please, 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 if you want any kind of mainstream, like really popular in like BookTok or Bookstar or anything like that, and they are in hardback, please look at Asda because you will be saving yourself so much money. So the first one I got is Weaving Short by Hiba Al-Wasiti, and I actually really like this cover. Let me put it forward for you a bit. I keep seeing, is it the Locked Library or Fairy Loot edition of this book? And yes, it is stunning. Like, that edition is just a chef's kiss. I actually really like this one. It's quite simple, but I think it says a lot. So not only has this been catching my eye for the longest time since I've been seeing that special edition, I did actually find out it was about a haunting and speaking to the dead and ghosts, and I'm a sucker for all that. So I just had to pick this up. I love a good haunting book, so really have high hopes for this. I don't actually think I'll get to this soon, but I am glad it's on my shelf. I feel like in hindsight, maybe I should have waited for this in paperback, but it was my birthday and I just wanted to spend money. And the final hardback I bought in Asda was A Stage Set for Villains by Shannon J. Spann. And again, I have heard such amazing things about this one, mainly on BookTok. And I just really wanted to pick it up. Do you know what? The reason why I wanted to pick this up, and a lot of you might just be thinking, oh my God, what a sucker, is I actually saw a TikTok on Shannon's page, and it was her sisters going into their local bookstore and seeing her books on the shelves and getting really happy and proud. And I don't know what it is, but that really just sold it to me. I'm a little bit of a sucker for things like that. Like, it just seemed like they were really proud of Shannon for obviously publishing this book and like having it on the shelves and stuff, and I just thought that was really cute. And since then, this one has been catching my eye, and I've actually heard so many people rant and rave about this one too. So I saw it in Asda for £9.98. It was coming home with me. So that is the next book I bought. So the next place I went to was The Works, and the reason why I went to The Works mainly is because I wanted the first book in the sprayed edge edition of the Skyridge Hot Shots. Was it there? No. Was the sprayed edge of A Dance of Lies there? No. So realistically, I should have walked back out and not bought any books, but I didn't do that. But the first book I bought is, again, a lot of you will be saying, did you really need that? Did you really need that? And that is The Great Alone by Kristin Hannah. Now, if you did watch my previous book haul, you will be thinking, didn't she just recently purchase that? And you may be thinking, didn't she just say that she doesn't believe in getting multiple copies of the same book? Yes, I did say that. But this is my favourite ever book. The Great Alone has such a special place in my heart. I'm not going to go on about it too much because I honestly talk about this book so much. If you've not read this book, please do. Like, it is phenomenal. A coming of age story. Just, it's amazing. It was a fiver. It was a fiver. And this cover is the version that I read on my Kindle. So I had to have it. And also, I might actually give this cover, or I don't know, maybe My Other Great Alone. Oh, you might be able to see it right in the corner, My Other Great Alone. I'm also trying to get both of my sisters to read this book. So yeah, and you betcha if there's a special edition of this book, I'm also getting it. So I feel like this is the only book where I will have multiple editions. Actually, I'm saying that. I feel like any Kristin Hannah books, I will get the special editions. I just love Kristin Hannah so much. But I only buy multiple copies of the same books if I genuinely love those books. I don't buy them if they got a pretty sprayed edge or, you know, this and that. It's what I want curated on my bookshelf, and it's books that I want to love. There's my reasoning. Please don't come for me. Again, the next book, I was a bit silly, but I guess I'm not silly. I'm just planning ahead for the future. And that is Oathbound by Tracy Dion. And the reason why this is a little bit silly is because this is the third book in the series. I do have the first book. I do think I'm going to love this series as well, but I do not have the second book in the series. So I've currently got number 1 and number 3. But for a £5, I'm sorry, that I couldn't pass that up. That's so cheap. And then the final book I bought was My Friends by Fredrik Backman. And I've been seeing this floating in the works lately, and I kind of knew I wanted to pick this up when I saw it in the works. I was like, yeah, there's no contest. This is coming home with me. And that is because I read A Man Called Ove, and that was a 5-star read for me. I absolutely love that book. To my soul, honestly, it's so good. I've not actually watched the movie, and the reason why I've not watched the movie is because I don't think I'm a fan of Tom Hanks. Now hear me out. I know a lot of people love Tom Hanks. I find he shouts all the time. Every role he does, like later roles, all he does is shout. And that is him acting, shouting. And I know for a fact, by reading A Man Called Ove, he has shouted in that film, and it just annoys me. Let me know if it is worth watching though, because maybe I need to just suck it up, but I don't think it's going to beat the book for me. Anyway, I loved his writing. I just really want to read more of Fredrik Backman, and now I can. So that is the last book I bought in the works. Then I took a little peruse in Waterstones, and I did buy 4 books, but I was quite good and I bought books in the buy one get one half price deal. If I'm being honest, I don't really buy many books in Waterstones unless it's in the buy one get one half price, because the books that are on that deal are normally books I always want to read and always want to pick up. So it just seems silly of me not to pick up a book that I can get a deal on rather than paying full price. And I do actually find, obviously they're not going to put brand new releases on the buy one get one half price deal, but I do actually find there are quite some newer releases or books that have been popular on BookTok that are on that deal. So it just makes sense to me. Anyway, the first book that I bought is one that I've been after for such a long time, and that is Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fato, I want to say. And this is... I think I'm going to love this one. I don't know too much about this, but again, I have actually heard mixed reviews. Some people love this, some people don't really like it. I think it's like a Marmite, but again, it's a historical fiction. I'm sensing kind of a horror aspect as well. Yeah, I think I'm gonna eat this one up. Okay, so the next one might have been a silly purchase, but I don't think it's a silly purchase because I do really want to read books 1 and 2. So yes, I have bought the 3rd book in a series without reading the first 2. And that is Strange Buildings by Yuketsu. Now, I have only heard amazing things about this series. Like, it seems so unique. I believe Yuketsu is actually a YouTuber as well. So I always kind of like to support YouTubers that are on their kind of writing journey and whatnot. But I just think this is right up my street. These books are quite different because as you could tell, I don't really like breaking the spines. That's why I'm not like fully opening these books. But as you can see, there are like pictures within these books, and you have to kind of read along and try and find out the puzzles with the pictures. So it feels kind of like an interactive one, and I'm all for it. My brother-in-law also just recently got Strange Pictures. I'm waiting to hear what he thinks about it. Like, I'm so intrigued to see how he finds it, and then obviously once he reads the second one, I can pass this one over to him too. So yeah, I'm actually really excited about this one. I know I've just said about I don't really buy books in Waterstones unless I'm buy one half price, blah blah blah. I think I'm actually going to buy the first 2 just full price in Waterstones because I don't really trust buying them anywhere else, like online, because I kind of want a perfect version, because I love flaps. Oh, I did not even notice that. Look at that. Yeah, I'm going to be adding 2 more books after this onto my TBR. The next 2 I bought in Waterstones, maybe because of the sprayed edges. Now look at those sprayed edges. How beautiful are they? The first one I bought was Clockwork Boys by T. Kingfisher. Now, I recently read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, and I loved her writing. I love the book, really entertaining with that gothic feel. And you know what? I read the blurb of this one and it just looked right up my street. So I think I'm gonna really enjoy this one, and it's tiny. I love the fact that T. Kingfisher really does do tiny books, but I feel like she actually packs Hendricks, so much punch in them. Then I purchased Half a Dark Heart by H.F. Asquith. Honestly, I've not heard of this one before, but I read the blurb and I was instantly sold. I did go on Goodreads. I know I said I wanted to stop going on Goodreads, but I did want to see if this was a series, because it felt like it could be a series. I wanted to know if this was like the first in a series and whatnot. It is a standalone, but I did see it only had like a 3.4 rating. I think it was like a 3.34. I can't lie, it did sway me. I was like, maybe I shouldn't pick this up. Then I remembered I read The Haunting of Moscow House, which was a 3.4 rating, and I absolutely loved it. So I thought, no, I'm going to buy this. I'm not going to listen to the reviews. I might absolutely fall in love with it. So I ignored the Goodreads reviews and I purchased it. And actually, I don't regret it. So it seems like our main female character, Alice, sees horrors inside her head. But her sister, Lucille, suddenly vanishes and she has to find out where she is, what's happened to her. I think along the way, Alice meets a boy and it's kind of, he's guiding her way to try and find her sister. But we're not entirely sure if he can be trusted or not. So very intrigued by this one. Lastly, I done a little Amazon haul because lately they have been doing some incredible deals on there that was just too good to miss out on, in my opinion. So the first book I got has actually been on my wish list for the longest time, and that is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. So you might be able to see just there, I've got Horror Store on my bookshelves. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard amazing things about Grady Hendrix as an author, full stop. I really need to get into his work pretty soon. So I'm really excited for this one. Obviously by the title, you would think that this is quite a witchy book, but I have heard that witchcraft and witches and whatnot are not in it as much as what maybe people would like. And that is why people don't really get on with this book. But now that I know that in my head, I know I'm not expecting that. I feel like this is definitely an October spooky read. Next up I got was The Floating Hotel by Grace Curtis. Again, this has been on my wish list and on my radar for the longest time. I can't tell you, I have picked this up in so many bookstores, and for some odd reason kept putting it down. And I saw it was on offer on Amazon for literally like £6, and I was like, you know what, this is my time, I'm just going to purchase it. And that's what I done. And obviously with the whole Artemis 2 and the, you know, this moon mission, it was like perfect timing. I have heard mixed reviews. I don't know if I'm gonna love this, but again, I'm just gonna go in with a clear head and make my own decisions. But I normally love sci-fi books. Every kind of sci-fi book I've read so far, I've absolutely loved. I say every sci-fi book. The only one that's sticking out in my mind is Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel, and that is a 5-star read. If no one's read Sea of Tranquility, please do. It's absolutely incredible. But yeah, I'm excited to have this now finally on my shelves. The next book I got was Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, the only reason why I bought this is because I've heard such incredible things about Kennedy Ryan books and her writing as a whole, and I've not really heard one person say a bad thing about a Kennedy Ryan book. So that is the sole reason why I bought this. I really want to experience what she brings to the table and whether I may potentially find a new favourite author. I think this is a kind of like contemporary romance. I think there's quite deep emotional content in here, which is actually how I love my romance books to be. I don't just like a fluffy romance. I want something a little bit deeper and where the connection actually means something. So glad to finally pick up a Kennedy Ryan book. The next book I bought was The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune, and honestly, I couldn't really pass on this cover. I absolutely love this cover. I also have heard amazing things about The House in Cerulean Sea, which I do have on my bookshelves. I've just not got round to reading it yet. And the premise of this one, it really intrigued me. So again, I couldn't pass it up. It was on like an incredible deal for like £6, and I just added it to the basket and paid for it. It does actually seem quite a wholesome book from the blurb. We've got a male main character, and it seems like he goes back to his family summer's cabin in Oregon, but he finds that it's not as empty as what he thought it should be. And there's actually a man and a little girl there. But it seems like this little girl may not be all what she seems. Yeah, this one looks quite fun. I might actually even read this before The House on Cerulean Sea, just because I don't believe this is a series, whereas The House on Cerulean Sea is. The last paperback I got was Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yambao, and again, this is one that I have been looking at for the longest time, and mainly just because of this cover. Like, seriously, look how beautiful that is. I love the colours. I just love everything about it. It's just so gorgeous. Again, I have heard mixed reviews. Actually, I've heard more bad reviews than good reviews, but I am quite keen to just make my own decision. I do believe this is kind of like a Japanese fiction, and I have to say I'm normally quite 50-50 on Japanese fictions, but the thing that I can appreciate in sort of these types of fiction books is there's always a nice uplifting message between the pages, and that is sometimes what I look for, and I just think is sometimes needed in the world. So definitely looking forward to this one, and who could say no to that cover? Now, the last book I purchased was To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast, and again, I kind of bought this because of the FOMO. I've been hearing amazing reviews about this one over on BookTok, and I need to see what it's about. I believe this is a fantasy with trials in as well, and I'm a sucker for trials in a book. Like, I eat them up. So again, it would be silly of me not to purchase this. This was on offer in Amazon. I can't actually remember the price I paid, but it wasn't full price. So I just thought, a little bit of a bargain. I do actually believe this was a tenner on Amazon. So again, I couldn't say no. And actually, it's come in great nick. Normally hardbacks on Amazon, I don't have high hopes that they're going to come in a good condition, but this one is, touch wood, pretty perfect. The only thing I'm not keen on, which I obviously didn't realise at the time, is it is a sprayed edge. I actually don't like sprayed edge where it's a solid colour. Personally, for me, I find it quite tacky. I would just prefer it to be plain white pages, but you know, no one's going to see the pages when it's on my bookshelves. I'll have it like that way on the case. So yeah, I'm not going to complain about that, especially when I only paid a tenner. So yeah, I'm actually really pleased with that. But that is all the books I bought in my book haul. So I have a physical TBR bucket on both Goodreads and Fable. I don't know how, but I'm one ahead on Fable. I need to kind of double check my books on there, I think, because somehow I have odd numbers and I don't know how that's happened, because 2 weeks ago they were the same number. So I'm going to go with the fact that I have 246 on my Goodreads. I'm going to use that number for now. Just bear in mind, I could be one book more. But currently I have 246 on my physical TBR. Don't comment, please don't comment. In this haul, we have acquired 18 new books, but one of them was The Great Alone, which I've already read, so that one doesn't count. So realistically, I need to add 17 books onto my physical TBR list. So what would that be? 256? That would be 263, I think, if I've done the correct math. So I now have 263 books on my physical TBR. And my goal for this year was to get that down to 150 books. I think we can safely say that will not be happening this year. I will not be getting down to 150 books on my TBR. I know, do you know what? Like I say, I never put myself on a book buying ban, but I do have a holiday coming up over in the States. I may buy some books there because the States have some stunning sprayed edges that obviously don't come over to the UK. There may potentially be a book haul, but the only thing that I'm thinking is their books are so expensive over in the States, and I don't know if I want to pay that if I can get cheaper books over here in the UK. I guess it depends on how beautiful that edition is. So we'll see if there is a book haul when I come back from the States, but I don't really plan to do another big book haul. You know, I don't really plan on doing that for the rest of the year, maybe at Christmas time. So realistically, not many books should be going onto my physical TBR until the rest of the year. So I'm thinking we could get our physical book total down to around 220. That is what I'm going to be working towards. I'm not going to change my physical goal that I wrote down from 150 to 220 because I need to learn from my lessons and just accept that I didn't do it. I failed that goal. I may have failed that goal, but buying books have brought me happiness. So, you know, peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs. Also, if anyone is interested, I currently have 96 books on my ebook TBR, but that is excluding arcs that I have. I actually have quite a few arcs. So I reckon I have about 102 books on my ebook TBR. But regardless, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Once again, I would love to know if you have read any of these books. What did you think of them? What one should I start off first? If you did enjoy this, please do like and subscribe. I would love to have you. I'm so close to 100 subscribers and I still can't get over the fact that people are watching my videos. Like, it blows my mind. But thank you so much for being here, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.